Hey Wayne, I've upgraded your Xero subscription from going to established so that we can test out Xero projects with you. I think this is going to be a really good fit for understanding your overall profitability per job. So before we actually jump in here, I wanted to talk a little bit about access. I've given you admin level access to Xero projects. There's three different levels of access that we can provide. Admin access can do everything within Xero projects. Project standard, you can add expenses and you can see the amounts of the invoice, see where staff is spending their time, but you can't see staff cost rates, staff costs on task, or the profitability dashboard. Projects limited, I actually think is going to be the right fit for most of your contractors and employees because it only allows them to see what they are working on. So they can see public projects and also projects and tasks that they've been assigned to, but they can't make changes. Then they can only view, add, or change their own time entries. So I think that's important to just keep a tight leash on your financial information. We don't want to have them see everything, especially if it's really none of their business. So I wanted to call that out ahead of time. With all of your staff, you can adjust the staff cost rates. And for this, I think it's important that we actually go through an exercise where we review the costs related to your employees and also your contractors. So I have a sheet that we use in order to do that. So we look at things like people's base rates, and also if you're paying for things like payroll taxes, which you are for employees, or workers' comp, or health insurance, or dental, vision, retirement, et cetera. This will actually tell us the true cost of employment on a monthly basis and an hourly basis. So that will be really helpful for understanding your costs related to running each project. Within the projects, I've set up a fake project here, and this is based on our conversation that we had the other day where you said, let's pretend that you have 10,000 polls, that each of your polls are $17 that you're charging. So the project estimate is $170,000. But then you've got some project costs. So it's $5.50 per poll and $1 for accommodation per poll. It's same for fuel, other expenses, sales commission, and data entry and administration. I went ahead and added an estimate, but you can see that in this example, I have exhausted the entire accommodation cost, which I think is important if you're trying to just make sure that you're not going overboard with spending. In order to add time to a project, there's a few different ways that you can do that. This is using the web app in order to adjust time. So I'm going into timer. You can go in and click add a timer, and then I'll expand this. I'll choose the project. I'll choose the task. I can go ahead and just start the timer, and I can add information here. You can also click save. And let's say that I don't want to track 4 seconds of time, which doesn't even show up here. I want to track 30 minutes of time. You can add that here. You can also add a start and end time if that's helpful, and change the date if you need to. And then you would just click save. So I'm going to click 30 minutes here and then click save. Now you can see that we've got some time added. And the other thing you could do is add a time entry manually here. So rather than starting the timer, you can just add the time entry with just skipping the timer altogether. I'm going to switch over to my phone, and I'm going to show you what it looks like to add time to a project using the Xero app. I understand that not every person is going to have access to a computer in the field. And so having access to this on your phone is really handy. Okay, so I'm in your Xero Projects app, and I can give you a link to download this. It's super easy to use. But here I've got a list of all of our projects. We've got draft, which there's none there, in progress, and then closed. If I go into the in progress, I will click this fake client and fake project to open it up. It has a really similar view. This information will be limited for those clients that do not have full administrative access, which I have. But I can see here that we can add time. So I'm going to go ahead and click the plus sign and add time. And with this, I can choose the task. And then again, go to those labor costs for the poll inspection. I can add a description. Same thing with duration. I can go in and very similarly add the total duration, or I could just add 15 minutes, 30 minutes. I can do a start and end time. And then when I'm done, I can click save, or I can click save and add another. Here I'll click save. Another way that I can add the time, just like what I did before, is adding the timer. So I can go ahead and just choose the project and the task, and I've got the timer started. When I'm done, I can click pause, and then done. And then of course that was only 7 seconds. I'll go ahead and just add some fake time in here and then click save. Super easy. I can see the time entries that are here because I am an administrator. For somebody else that is not an administrator, they won't have this view. But I think this will be really handy for those people that have an iPhone or an Android that are in the field and don't want to go and grab their computer in order to track time. I'll also in the next video show you how you can do the same thing in Gusto. But with that, I think it wouldn't make as much sense because we'd have to move the information from Gusto, put it into Xero, and it would just be a lot of extra time. But I'll show you how that works just so you have an idea.